Welcome once again to the coaching experiment, and the part of that is a coaching experience. Now, what a coaching experience can do for you. Now, one of my favorite words is experiment, and here's the story. Many years ago, when I was a young boy, I had a school science teacher who was a true science geek long before that term was ever really used. He obviously loved teaching science, and after many years of teaching, he had turned the classroom into a laboratory, a la a museum. There were Bunsen burners and test tubes and microscopes, telescopes, stuffed animals and charts and pictures all over. I loved it. It was a fascinating experience for a young geeky kid. And a small group of us other geeky kids often went to the lab after school hours to do our own experiments under his guidance. And he would do that. An experiment is defined as a test under controlled conditions that is made to demonstrate a known truth, perhaps to examine the validity of a hypothesis or to determine the efficacy of something previously untried. I remember one day when this master teacher was putting an arrangement of equipment together for another experiment that we often had in our class. He said to us with a chuckle, he said, "Class, I hope you realize I always call these little projects experiments rather than demonstrations. That's in case they don't work out." I was sitting in a corner of the classroom and I started to laugh. Unfortunately, I was the only one in class who was laughing. Nobody else in the class got the joke. And the teacher realized that his little joke had fallen flat, and he gave me an appreciative smile for laughing. But I've remembered that line since that day. It's an experiment in case it doesn't work out. In some ways, that story and statement has saved my sanity many times. There's so much in our life where we expect and often are expected to do it right, make the sale, and perform at our best. We hope and expect to succeed, but it often does not work out, no matter how thoughtful, well-planned, and well-executed our projects are. They turn out to be experiments, and often failed ones rather than demonstrations. I know this from deep experience. We drop our chins, sigh, swallow hard, feel weak. We put on a brave face, take our lumps, and press on. Our project, our experiment failed. I would say, as an entrepreneur, everything you do, every action you take in product development, in marketing, every conversation you have, everything you do is an experiment. If you can conceptualize your work not as building features, not as launching campaigns, but as running experiments, you can get radically more done with less effort. A gentleman named Eric Ries taught me that. At other times, the plan comes together. Blood, toil, tears, and sweat do their work for us. Grace and good fortune come our way. It happens. The business is launched. We get the gig. We close the deal. The project is profitable. The book is published. The experiment is a success, and we share congrats, high fives, a smile, and deep joy. Now, I want you to know this because that's why I call this little program the coaching experiment, because I want to be real and truthful. Like many of you, I'm often exhausted by all the hype of the promised prosperity and success stuff all around us today. Now, there are hundreds of books, training programs, coaching boot camps that promise success if you follow the program and work the plan. It also helps if you buy more of their stuff. They guarantee results. They promise great benefits. Well, experience is the best teacher of all, and for that, there are no guarantees that one will become an artist. Only the journey matters. Harry Callahan taught me that. That is foolishness. Life and business have no guarantees. Life indeed is difficult. And as songwriter and singer John Lennon once lamented, life is what happens when you are making other plans. But to make it even more difficult, most people don't even have any plans. for the projects of their life. We just deal with the day and hope for a better day to come. Yet most people who have successful projects live and work with plans and principles and performance practices in mind. And they also have people to help them. That's important. Now that is what this little coaching guide is all about: plans, principles, and performance practices, but no promises. It's all an experiment. I have coaching clients whose success is outstanding in building businesses and careers and enjoying life. Others say nothing happened except for greater frustration with their situation and perhaps even with me. Now that we are clear, let's try and plan for success and understand what success might be like in this coaching experiment experience that we're getting involved in. So, for this program, and as a way to remind us, we will often use the word experiment for experience. I trust you see the wisdom and the worth of the word for our learning together. Now, as we often do, we continue with the story. Years ago, when I was beginning my business, I did what all entrepreneurs have to do. You call on people, seek to tell your story or make an offer, and hope for a positive response. I called a referred gentleman who immediately understood that I was selling. He quickly cut off my regular script of introduction and kindly but firmly said, "Stan, I know what you are doing. I do it myself. Just tell me, what you got?" In other words, get to the bottom line. What do I get if I buy from you or do what you want? In many years of coaching others, I've discovered that there are probably 7 answers to the question, what you got? It's difficult to find an adequate term to describe or categorize these results of a good coaching experiment, but let's call them states of being. It's a combination of the state of mind and the state of our performance, hence a state of being. Now these will become clearer as we describe them. Here we go. Number 1, greater clarity. Greater clarity about what is true and what to do. Now for me, the greatest beauty always lies in the greatest clarity. Gotthold Lessing told me that. In the midst of life's complexity, confusion, and chaos, clarity is gained about what to do. Focused conversations about goals, desires, and intentions often bring simplicity, good ideas and solutions to our busy situations. I have found that the most profound and helpful question to ask many people is, "And what do you want?" That is where we start, because most people don't know. Then the end of a good coaching conversation or experiment is reflected in the statement, "Good." Now that's clear. How about greater awareness? Greater awareness of human motivation and cause and effect. The first step toward change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Nathaniel Brandon put that wisdom on me. In a coaching conversation, I often say, don't judge, just notice. Be aware. Focus on what is going on, not just on what you are doing. Please tell me, why was that a successful sale or presentation? Often I hear, I knew exactly what I was going to happen next, and I was right. I really have come to trust my gut and intuition. I really did connect the dots, and it was obvious what to do. I really am getting good at knowing how my behavior and language affects others. Yeah. Now these are examples of the subtle but vital state of being that we have discovered in many highly successful people. They have greater awareness of what is going on, what's true, and what to do. How about more energy? More energy for greater activity and vitality. Energy, like the biblical grain of the mustard seed, will remove mountains. Hosea Ballou taught me that. Now in this state of being, if this state of being is not achieved, nothing of consequence will happen in our coaching. Personal energy is the capacity for vigorous activity, intensity, and the power of attraction. Energy comes from rest, exercise, eating well, and optimism. It also comes from a product of the first two states. Greater clarity and awareness is empowering, and that feeling gives us more energy. When our bodies and minds feel and express personal energy, good things happen. We often attract good opportunities and helpful people into our life. I know that our energy levels are the keys to achieving many of our goals. I challenge clients to exercise, rest, drink less alcohol, dress well, pick up the pace, smile, read more books, and watch less TV. Pray for and care for others. Be aware of your energy output because that is a fundamental way to stand out in the marketplaces of life and business. In a summary statement, I say, coaching is about creating, directing, and sustaining personal energy. It is one of our greatest challenges. Next, very useful. Very useful by being effective and creative. Be unselfish. That is the first and final commandment for those who would be useful and happy in their usefulness. If you think of yourself only, you cannot develop because you are choking the source of development, which is spiritual expansion through thought for others. Charles William Eliot helped me learn that. Unfortunately, many people are passive in their lives and work. They go with the flow, do only what they have to do, and merely react to life. Nothing great happens from living such a style. Others are active and they do things, but being active does not mean that things changed or that other things were created. Changing things that are important is effective. Coming up with new ideas and building things that are helpful is creative. Coaching is to help us be far more useful to ourselves, our organization, and maybe our world by being more effective and creative. In coaching, I often say, what changed? Was it helpful? What effect did that have? Are you pleased with the result? Tell me why. That's what we mean by effective, and we are also called to stretch our creative efforts to do things to help us grow artistically, intellectually, and professionally. We do those things. I often say that one of the goals of a coaching experiment is to go from being a watcher to a doer to a change maker to a creator. That's useful. More influential. More influential through the power of attraction and persuasion. You don't have to be a person of influence to be influential. In fact, the most influential people in my life are probably not even aware of the things they have taught me. A gentleman named Scott Adams shared that with us. Effective people who want to make a difference must be able to influence others. They need to become more persuasive. Learning to promote good things and persuade others is one of the key performing arts that we hope to enhance in every coaching experiment. That's right. Related to persuasion is the almost mystical concept of attraction. Now, in many coaching programs, one of the major goals is called greater personal attraction. If used in the best sense of the word, I agree. Here is how it works, hopefully. You have greater clarity and clear focus with high awareness, combined with high energy, and demonstrated by useful creativity. People will be attracted to you. They will come under your circle of influence and are thereby subject to your persuasive giftedness. That's leadership power. Now, this kind of leadership is not defined by power, authority, and position, but by being a thought leader, an idea generator, and an inspiration to others. It is about being influential. Is this description beginning to remind you of people you admire and follow? Now, the coaching experiment is to help you be the person you want to be. Fruitful. Being fruitful is the key to real life results and financial wherewithal. Over time, grit is what separates fruitful lives from aimlessness. John Ortberg showed me that. And the bottom line is, he said with a slightly skeptical smile, how will your coaching help me make more money? Now that is often the question. Will all this coaching stuff help me be more productive and make more money? It can, and in many cases it must. To do that, we must embrace being fruitful. Fruitful is one of my favorite coaching expressions. It is an old spiritual expression. In the ancient Hebrew scriptures, we are told to be fruitful, to go forth and multiply. To me, this is more than a call to human procreation. It is the essence of life. To be fruitful is to be more thoughtful, inspirational, motivational, educational, or even useful. Fruitful means real things have been produced and achieved. For example, when I have an apple, a piece of fruit in my hand, it is real stuff. It is the result of productive labor and nurture. It has real value. I can eat it for its nutritional and life-giving value, or I can sell it to another for money. It has financial value. But fruitful means more. The apple has seeds in it for growing new apples, many new apples. Fruitful means there is a potential for new life and growth. We can multiply our results. Third, fruitful is generally sweet. Sweet is something pleasant to the mind and feelings. There are things that we seek and need that are indeed the sweet spots of life. So in summary, something that is fruitful is real, life-giving, and sweet. Let the meaning and mystery of the word fruitful be the metaphor for the sixth state of being in the coaching experiment. Coaching experiment, if successful in our projects, may help us to make more money. That's a legitimate metric. We want to be fruitful, productive, and make more money. But money may not be the metric, and rightly so. But then what is the metric? That's what we seek to discover for each person in the coaching experiment. That's right. Serene. Serenity is the personal power to be at peace. That's right. God gives us grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Reinhold Niebuhr. The seventh state is one we would all love to possess, and in some cases it actually comes to us. It is serenity. Serenity is to be unaffected by disturbance, tranquil, unruffled, and calm. There's an old essay that gives a feeling of the serenity state, and it is from The Majesty of Calmness by William George Jordan. May I put it this way? Calmness is the rarest quality in human life. It is the poise of a great nature, in harmony with itself and its ideals. It is the moral atmosphere of a life self-centered, self-reliant, and self-controlled. Calmness is singleness of purpose, absolute confidence, and conscious power, ready to be focused in an instant to meet any crisis. The man who is calm has his course in life clearly marked on his chart. His hand is ever on the helm, storm, fog, night, tempest, danger, hidden reefs. He's ever prepared and ready for them. He is made calm and serene by the realization that in these crises of his voyage, he needs a clear mind and a cool head, that he has not to do, but to do each day the best he can by the light he has, that he will never flinch nor falter for a moment, that though he may have to tack and leave his course for a time, he will never drift. He will get back into the true channel. He will keep ever headed toward his harbor. When he will reach it, how he'll reach it, matters not to him. He rests in calmness, knowing he has done his best. If his best seems to be overthrown or overruled, then he must still bow his head in calmness. To no man is permitted to know the future of his life and the finality of it. God commits to man ever only new beginnings, new wisdom, and new days to use the best of his knowledge. Calmness comes ever from within. It is the peace and restfulness of the depths of our nature. The fury of storm and of wind agitate only the surface of the sea. They can penetrate only 200 or 300 feet. Below that is the calm, unruffled deep. To be ready in great crises of life, we must learn serenity, daily living. Calmness is the crown of self-control. When the worries and cares of the day fret you and begin to wear upon you, and you chafe under the friction, be calm. Stop, rest for a moment, and let calmness and peace assert themselves. If you let these irritating outside influences get the better of you, you are confessing your inferiority to them. By permitting them to dominate you, study the disturbing elements, each by itself. Bring all the willpower of your nature to bear upon them, and you will find that they will one by one melt into nothingness, like vapors fading before the sun. The glow of calmness will then pervade your mind. The tingling sensation of an inflow of new strength may be to you the beginning of the revelation of the supreme calmness that is possible for you. Then in some great hour of your life, when you stand face to face with some awful trial, when the structure of your ambition and life work crumbles, in a moment, you will be brave. You then can fold your arms calmly, look out undismayed and undaunted upon the ashes of your hope, upon the wreck of what you have faithfully built, and with brave heart and unfaltering voice you may say, "So let it be. I will build again." That is serenity, and the goal of the seventh state of the coaching experience. That's it. To sum up, the 7 states are greater clarity, greater awareness, more energy, very useful, more influential, fruitful, serenity. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We will continue with the coaching experience and the coaching experiment in all of our different programs and performances yet to come. Best and blessings to you all. Till the next program, bye for now. Please reach out to me, Stan Houston, at stan@witradio.net. Witradio.net is our website, and 520-664-7002 USA.